Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Today, my partner Paez is with us. So, we are going to discuss and talk about paramilitary groups in Colombia with our special guest, Juan Felipe, who is an expert on this topic.
Also, thanks for inviting me. So, my name is Juan Felipe Suelta and I am a historian. I normally talk about the Colombian history, and today we are going to focus about the paramilitarism, some consequences, the origins, and some of the problems that it caused. So, thanks for inviting me. Also, while I am going to talk about it, I am going to ask you both guys some questions in the end about what you think about it. So, let's be prepared. Thanks.
Sultan, we are going to be prepared for your question. Now tell us about the paramilitarism in the country.
Okay, so let's start about the definition. So, what are the paramilitary groups? So, these kinds of groups are the kind of groups that are from the extreme right and are supported by the government. We could say that these groups were basically formed in the Liberal Republic, but not officially, because it was like a small conflict where the Pájaros and Chulavitas were supported by the conservative people, and also the Cachiporros were like the liberal guerrillas, we could say, but not officially. We could say that these were caused by many reasons. For example, the first one we could say the government of Guillermo Leon Valencia, that basically he made the decision of make legal these kinds of armed groups to protect the people that lives in the farms and livestock. So that's one of the reasons. Other reasons was the new rich people that were the narcs. These were not very happy with the guerrilla because they were taking the land and murdering the men. So they wanted the paramilitary to try and combat them. The third reason was the elections that we could say from 1987 to 1988, and basically that was election for mayor of many regions of Colombia. Basically they were contract to basically murder or make disappear one of the opposite partyship members. So pretty bad. And the final relation or cause we could find is the Cold War. How we could say Cold War? Because basically the guerrilla are from extreme left, if we could say that, and extreme left is basically always related with communism. So, and since it was Cold War, we needed to stop the communism from spread because it was like a disease or something related like that. So that's why they did it. One example of this is the assassination of Jaime Garzón that was, we could say, related with left, but not a communist person. Basically murdered by paramilitary groups. Not really good. So we could say that many of these groups were related or supported by the military, the government, the narcs, the people that live in farms, and also the military groups in Colombia. So they were supported by a lot of people, different from the guerrillas. One of the most important groups of this was Convivir from 1984. Basically, it was created to basically defend the landowners. Because at the time we could say that the guerrilla was taking a lot of land because of their operations, so that wasn't good. Another group that we could mention is the Autodefense United of Colombia, or AUC. These groups were from 1996 to 2006, and they were a direct response for the guerrilla or FARC. Why? Because, well, the guerrilla was spreading pretty far. It was murdering a lot of people, so that's why they did it. But they demobilized in the government of Álvaro Uribe in 2006. Also, we could say that some of the consequences that this gave was pretty much they burned a lot of things. They, like the guerrilla, took a lot of land. Pretty a lot of land. They did many homicides. But how? Why? Or when? Well, these homicides were basically to make a puzzle. Basically, look at that person. See that person? That's going to happen to you if you try to do something. So they wanted to cause terror among the people. Also, they basically wanted to control a lot of things like the politics. Basically, if someone from a party A pay you and someone from the party B paid you more, then you're going to divide the town and say, look, you vote for him, and for him. And the other half of the town basically vote for him, for him, or for him. So basically, the person that paid them more basically wins. So this generated the parapolitics, one important concept that we need to understand. One of these we could say was the Pact of Raleigh, basically business between the paramilitary groups and the government. And why they wanted to do that? Basically, the laws of land. They wanted to legalize the forced displacement of land. But why? Because, as I mentioned before, they basically took land and everything and want to control all of it. So they did that. They wanted to make it legal so they don't have any problem. And because they were basically related to the narcs, to the politics, basically they were in an autonomous economy, so they didn't need support. So when a politic say, okay, I don't want more your help, you can leave, and you need to demobilize, and the paramilitary group say, why? Why I will do that? I'm happy like that. And say, because I told you so. So basically they tell you, no, no, no. And that's when we form the backgroup. These are armed groups and are residency from this conflict. Basically, for example, the clan of Golfo or the Gaitanese Autodefense of Colombia or the Pashenkas. Basically, they are like, okay, no, I don't want it, so that's your problem because I'm going to continue. So that's a small part of it. Basically, the paramilitarisms were an idea to prevent the guerrilla from spreading, but they didn't go well. And also there was a lot of damage. A lot is a lot. Because as I mentioned before, they basically took land, were related to the narcs, and pretty much all like that. So now I am going to ask you, my host, what do you think about this problem? What do you think about the paramilitarism? In what points of it do you agree or disagree? Do you think it was a good solution or a bad solution? So that's for you all. I'm telling you to answer it.
Oh my god. I do not agree with this. The acts of paramilitary groups are so bad. I am going to give up three reasons why you should not support the paramilitary groups. The first is that by assassinating the political leaders, and in addition to beginning kill people, they do not allow the peace process in Colombia to be carried out, and on the other hand, there are the peasants who are displaced, are and innocent people are died. In several occasions, the paramilitary have assassinated innocent people, although they are originally to protect us. But now, they are a group allied to the group trafficking and the assassination of people. The peace process are important for the development of Colombia, but thanks of the acts of paramilitaries is not possible because these paramilitary groups execute them since the disappearance of people and the murder of social leaders and those not help to create peace in Colombia.
Now I'm going to say my opinion about this conflict, about this paramilitarism in the country. It's something true about Suelta says that the paramilitarism is like a form to defeat the guerrillas groups. So the paramilitarism is good. I'm agree with the paramilitarism because they defeat or they control the guerrillas group, and the people has the opportunity to take weapons and def- and defend itself because the government don't do anything with the guerrillas group and the paramilitarism do something. The paramilitarism at least combat, do a lot of things with the guerrillas. Obviously, in the actually, is not the best groups in the country, but they helped us too much in the past with the guerrillas group, and I think that is a good, it's a good group, and that's why I agree with them. Uh, and that is all for my opinion. Well, expert Solta, that was all for today. We have not much time. Thanks for being here. Thanks to my partner Munoz for presenting and for saying her opinion. And we wait to you to the next podcast. Bye.
I will say thanks for inviting me, but this was an amazing experience. I liked your answer, and I normally talk and like to talk about Colombian history because that's where we come from. We should know better about Colombian history and the pros and cons that we committed. There are a lot of mistakes, but we should learn it. So thanks for inviting me. Thanks. Bye.
Well, thanks for listening to our podcast about paramilitary groups in Colombia, and see you later. Bye.